Prompt: the queen is dead. The kingdom burns around you. Her soldiers fight on, but the invader is relentless. You do the only thing you can. You flee to beg mercy from your God, to call on your protector to cast out your enemies. You leave the hive in search of its beekeeper. Part 1. We are the spark of life, riding on the winds. There is no hive without us, and there is no green upon the earth without the hive. Each day we soar away from the hive that birthed us, the hive fated to abandon us, and we gather where the world has called us. As we dive and circle, our keen eyes watching for she who must be kindled, each of us wonders, is this the day I die, my spark consumed to kindle the lives of those who will come after? Each day we pray to the one who watches over, let me die in glory, today. Let it be me, whose spark kindles the souls of those who come after. Let me not fly in vain, to be cast out into the cold at the end of my days. Most of our prayers will not be heard. Most of us will die hungry, shivering in the dark, and the spark we bore will fade away. But such is the way of the earth, and the will of the one who watches over. We accept our fate. And for as long as we can, we fly. Part 2. We saw them from afar, as we flew to where we were called, for our eyes are far sharper than our sisters, sharper even than she who must be kindled. The destroyers have come for the hive, the place of our birth, our home before our final exile. The sisters would rise against them, but they would be no match for the devouring invaders. And there was nothing we could do, for our stings cannot kill, they can only kindle new life. Wisdom said we should answer the call of the earth, as we always had, and gather where it bid us. Perhaps a she who must be kindled from another hive would come, seeking the spark of life, and a few of us would still have a chance for glory. True, the hive may have birthed us, but it would also cast us out when we were no longer needed. We owed it no fealty. And yet, how many like us had died in glory, so that the hive could live? How many had been born, and had soared, and been cast out, so that the cycle of life could continue, and the world itself could live? As one, we turned aside, brothers united in purpose. We ignored the call of the earth, the call to glory, and flew beyond. We would seek the one who watches over, who alone had the power to destroy the destroyers. For the hive of our birth, for those who would soon cast us out, we would abandon our heart's desire, and tempt the wrath of our God. Part 3. Jacob looked up from his newspaper with a frown, as he heard the sound of buzzing nearby. A small swarm circled nearby, forming a roughly round mass that elongated into an ellipse as it streaked through the air. As it drew close, it began darting back and forth, and side to side. He folded his paper, setting it on the table on the porch, and squinted at the odd little congregation. No, not a swarm. It was a drone comet. That was the common name for one of those mysterious gatherings of male bees that waited for a virgin queen from another hive to approach on a mating flight. Why they gathered together in certain places was still being studied. Everything from wind-borne pheromones to magnetic fields had been theorized to explain it, but he'd never seen a group of drones behaving this strangely. Especially, he noted, without a queen bee anywhere in sight. The comet suddenly streaked towards him, then became a ball again, swirling inches from his face. He was startled, but not scared. Drones can't sting you, after all. Huh. Now what the hell's gotten into you little fellers? He muttered, stroking his chin thoughtfully. Almost as if in response, the drone comet streaked away, towards the field where Jacob kept his beehives. Curious, he donned his beekeeper's hood, and began following the strange little cluster of bees, to see where they would lead him.